I grew up in a small town in Maine called Monson. Not even 1,000 people lived there, but even the smallest places have many stories. I've told some of mine to Katie and Benjamin. Katie is 6 and Benjamin's almost 5. Here they are.
Up Close Audio presents Monson Memories. One time, Daddy's mom bought sheets. His old sheets was all worn out. And when Daddy pulled the covers over to go to bed, he yelled, "I do not like these sheets." Then his mom yelled, "Go to sleep with it. You have to sleep with them tonight, Andrew." And she didn't come up. And he said, "I do not like these sheets." And then he started throwing a fit. Then finally, his mom came up and put the old sheets back on. The end. One time, Sabrina was a girl, and they invited her over, and they made a big pile of sand. And they poked little holes in it, and they say to Sabrina, "This is a beehive." And she ran back home since she was scared of bees. One time, Grandma was sick, so a lady from the church brought a man over, and when they handed it to the boys, she said, "Dig deep for the treasure." And then they started thinking, what could the treasure be? Could it be a gold coin? Could it be money? Could it be chocolate? What could it be? So at dinner time, they said to Grandma, "Dig deep for the treasure." And so she digged deep. And guess what they saw? A roast piece of spinach. And that was not treasure. The end. One time, he was a guy named Keith. And he had this thing called Keith Shaws. Well, some hikers was on a trail. So they ate them. And he was one guy. And he bragged about everyone, and he said, "I'm going to be on magazines, on television. I'm going to be on the newspaper." And he bragged on to all those people. But when he went up, he ordered 3 sausages, 1 pancake, and 1 piece of coffee, and some orange juice, and some water. And he ate down those in one big... And then he was done. And he said, "Keep on coming." And then he gave up in a bunch more. And then he just went under the table and curled up in a ball. And he was just rolling around down there. And then Keith knew just what to do. He came to the phone and he called the hospital. They need to pump his stomach out. Daddy lived next to this very wealthy person. And Tim, his younger brother, was just the size of his son, and he kept getting new stuff and new stuff and new stuff. And it was really hard for Tim because they didn't have a lot of money, so they couldn't get everything Tim wanted. So one day, they got a cat. And they was playing with it in the front yard. Little Keith came over. And as Daddy was watching him looking at it, he saw a look he had never worn before. It was a look of envy. So he said, "I'll be back a little bit later." And so they went inside and had lunch. And 2 hours later, little Keith came back with something in his hands. And So he walked to them and he said, I got a cat. One time, he was a girl named Sabrina, and she was so proud of her long brown good hair, and her mom was proud of it too. And one time she came over, and they threw sticky little bullocks in her hair, and her mom had to cut her hair really short so she could cut the bullocks out, and she was really angry at us. Daddy went to Disney World with his family. And not just his family, like his uncle, his aunt, his grandma, his grandpa. And they was walking up in this tree house. And he saw somebody in line who looked like his uncle. And he was very bored. So he said, let's have some fun in his head. So he moved back and punched the guy in the butt. And he did it again. No response. He did it again. No response that time. Now he rode up and he punched him again for the last time. And he said, hey kid, why are you punching me in the butt? One time, Daddy was playing baseball, and his umpire was Mackie Millia. And so he swings the bat, and Mackie Millia said, strike one! He swings the bat, strike two, he said. Daddy thought that was just absurd. And the last one, strike three, you're out! And then Daddy caught him a joke inside his mind. And then on the way up the hill, Daddy said, Mackie Millia is a joke. And then Uncle Stephen was good. Once they got to the house, Stephen told that to his parents, and he confesses he called Mackie Millia a joke, and then he said, you are grounded. One time, it was, they both sang. There was twins, so they had their birthday on the exact same day, but Tim was the littlest, so he did not have his birthday. And they said, go upstairs, Andrew. And, they went up, and then they bring out these beautiful bakes. Right in the middle of the carpet was these beautiful bakes. Once they opened up the presents, they start zooming around the whole entire yard. So they are zooming around the front yard. Grandpa is videotaping them, and then he zooms on to Tim, and he had his head down, sitting so sad. Tim was littler than Stephen and Daddy, so he did not get a bike. One time when Daddy and Uncle Stephen was at school, Uncle Wendy, the uncle came and built a cave for their little brother Tim under the steps. So they cleaned it out, they made it look very nice, they put some snacks in there, they put a lantern in there, they put some old rug in there. And so when they come home from school, Tim's ordering them to go under the steps, through the laundry room, through the bathroom, and to his cave. And so he quick opened up the door, slips right in, and everybody's like, hey, where's Tim go? Where's Tim go? And then he opened up the door and said, come in here. And so they all had snacks on the rug, and it was very comfortable. time, Daddy's aunt and uncle came up, so they had dinner with them, and it was their time to bring in show and tell to Anna. And one thing you gotta know is their uncle had a really big truck, a really big one, and he drove it on the road. So for show and tell, they brought in that big, humongous truck, and everybody, first grade, second grade, third grade, fourth grade, fifth grade, sixth grade, seventh grade, all came out to see the big truck, and everybody got to go inside it at one time, and they were very proud. One time, Daddy had his friend Mike Ditzo over for a sleepover, but that was his first time seeing their house, so he had never seen their house before. So as they got into Monson, they noticed their dad doing some weird things. Instead of turning onto Pleasant Street, he kept going on Main Street. One thing you gotta know about the town, there was an old, dirty, ugly-looking house. So their dad pulled right into that, and their friend's eyes got very big, and his mouth fell open, and and they thought it was so funny, and then everybody got out, and then they just could not control it anymore. They started laughing and laughing, and then they said, "This is not a house." Their friend said, "Oh, good, I'm very glad." And then they drove to the real house, and they had a great time.
Up close audio.
I'm not ready.
Okay.
I'm not ready. I'm not ready. Still not ready. I'm still not ready. Okay, then I'm going to tell the story.
Okay.
I'm not ready. I'm done.